Hey everyone! Ready for a deep dive into something that might just flip your ideas about success on their head?
Sounds intriguing.
Today we're looking at luck and the role it plays in building wealth.
Hmm. A question that's had thinkers scratching their heads for ages. Is it really just talent and hard work? Or is there, something else going on? Something a bit more out of our control?
Exactly. We're going to be digging into some super interesting research from MIT Technology Review.
Oh, I've heard of that. What's the article called?
It's called If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? It turns out it's just chance.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
It is. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with something I'm sure you've heard of, the 80-20 rule. The idea that 80% of the wealth is held by just 20% of people.
Yeah, the Pareto principle. Classic.
Right. And a recent report really drove this home, stating that just 8 individuals own the same amount of wealth as the poorest 3.8 billion people on the planet. Crazy, right?
Wow, that's a staggering concentration of wealth.
It is. But here's the thing. This pattern, it's not just about wealth. It's called a power law, and it pops up everywhere.
Oh, yeah, you see it all over the place.
Exactly. Like 20% of websites get 80% of the traffic.
20% of employees might be generating 80% of a company's revenue. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It really is. And it's a pattern that seems to be like woven into so many complex systems.
And you wonder why, doesn't it?
It does. So we've got this power law distribution of wealth, right? But here's where the traditional story kind of falls apart. If success was all about talent and hard work, wouldn't we see the same power law distribution for those qualities too?
That's a great point. Shouldn't things like intelligence or work ethic also follow that pattern?
Exactly. But that's where things don't quite line up. Human skills, things like intelligence or work ethic, they don't follow that same extreme distribution. I mean, no one has an IQ of 10,000, right?
Huh. Not that I've heard of.
hmm
And no one can work a billion times harder than anyone else either.
Exactly. Yet we see these massive, massive differences in wealth. So what's the deal? Well, that's where this team of researchers from the University of Catania in Italy comes in. They decided to create a model to simulate this whole thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Like a computer simulation.
Exactly. They basically created a virtual game of life, you could say. Thousands of digital individuals, each embarking on a 40-year career, and each of them starts with a different level of talent.
Okay, so like their potential for success,
Or
essentially.
a combination of their intelligence, skills, and work ethic. But, and this is the key part, these digital individuals also encounter random lucky and unlucky events throughout their careers. Like, imagine stumbling onto a revolutionary idea.
Or being in the right place at the right time.
Right. Or, on the flip side, facing unexpected setbacks, obstacles that pop up out of nowhere.
Makes sense. Those things happen in real life all the time.
They do. So the researchers ran the simulation tons of times, tracking how much wealth each individual accumulated over those 40 years.
Okay, I'm hooked. What did they find?
Well, get this. The individuals who consistently ended up the wealthiest weren't necessarily the most talented.
Hold on, really? So it wasn't all about being the smartest or the hardest worker?
Nope. The factor that really made a difference was, you guessed it, luck. The individuals who bumped into more of those random lucky events, those unexpected opportunities or fortunate turns of events, they were the ones who ended up at the top of the wealth pyramid.
Wow. So it really was about being in the right place at the right time. Fascinating.
It's like all that hard work and talent, sure, those are important. But sometimes it's that extra bit of luck that really pushes you over the edge.
Yeah, like that saying, it's better to be lucky than good. But what's really cool is they didn't just say luck matters, they actually measured it.
Oh, wow. How did they do that?
So they kept track of all those lucky and unlucky events, the ones that happened to each person in the simulation. Then they ranked everyone based on how much luck they had.
So, like, they were keeping score, a serendipity scoreboard.
Uh-huh. Yeah, basically. And get this, the people with the highest luck scores were the ones who consistently ended up richer.
That's crazy. But, okay, so that's in a computer simulation. How does this play out in real life? Like, how do you use this knowledge to make decisions?
Well, that's what's so cool about this research. They actually took this model and applied it to something very specific, funding scientific research.
Oh, wow, that's a big deal. So they're trying to figure out if you can actually set up systems that, like, encourage those lucky breakthroughs.
Exactly. And they looked at a few different ways to fund research. One way was to give everyone the same amount of money.
Okay, so spreading the wealth around.
Right. Then another way was to randomly pick some scientists and give them the money.
Interesting. Kind of like throwing darts and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, sort of. And then, of course, they looked at the traditional way of funding, which is to give money to the scientists who already have a track record of success.
Right, the proven winners. So it's like, do you play it safe and bet on the favorites, or do you try something different?
Exactly. And what do you think they found? Which method led to the most breakthroughs?
Hmm. I'm gonna guess giving money to the scientists who already have a good track record.
Nope. It was actually the one where everyone got the same amount of funding.
Seriously. That goes against everything we hear about, like backing the winners and all of that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive. But think about it from a luck perspective. If you give more people a chance, someone, somewhere, is more likely to stumble on something amazing.
It's like if you cast a wider net, you're more likely to catch more fish.
Exactly. And this isn't just about science either. Think about venture capital, for instance. Instead of just chasing the hot startups or the big companies, maybe there's a case for investing in a wider range of businesses, even the ones that seem like long shots.
It's like you're saying, don't just try to predict the future perfectly because you can't. Instead, maybe it's smarter to be open to different possibilities.
Absolutely. And be open to the fact that sometimes those lucky breaks are what really make the difference. It really makes you think about how we approach risk and opportunity.
It does. Like, are we too focused on trying to find the sure thing when maybe we should be creating more opportunities for, those serendipitous moments to happen?
That's a great question, and it makes me wonder, is there a way to actually design systems that encourage those random lucky events we've been talking about? Can you, like, engineer serendipity?
Like building some kind of serendipity machine, right?
Yeah.
Designing things on purpose to make those chance encounters happen more often.
Yeah, exactly. Think about creating spaces where people with different backgrounds, skills, and perspectives can mix and mingle, bounce ideas off each other.
Like those collaborative workspaces that are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, or interdisciplinary conferences,
Yeah.
even online platforms designed for making those kinds of connections.
It makes me think about cities, how they've always been these hubs of creativity and innovation, bringing people together from all walks of life.
Right. Increasing those chances of running into someone who sparks a new idea or a whole new venture.
Totally. So when we put it all together, what does it mean for us? Like on a personal level, if luck really is this big factor in success, how can we make sure we're in the right place at the right time more often?
It's not about just waiting around for good things to happen. It's about making yourself more open to those opportunities. Remember that simulation. The people who had more lucky events weren't just sitting at home hoping for the best. They were out there, exploring, engaging with the world, making those chance encounters more likely.
So it's less about trying to predict the future perfectly and more about being open to new things, right? Being willing to experiment and see what happens.
Totally. It's about having that sense of curiosity, that willingness to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. Think about it. Those groundbreaking discoveries, the innovations that change the world, they often come from those unexpected moments of inspiration, those chance encounters you could never have planned for.
So the more we embrace the unknown, the more we open ourselves up to those lucky breaks.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And remember, luck isn't just about winning the lottery or stumbling onto a golden opportunity. It's also about recognizing those smaller moments of fortune that happen every day. That chance meeting that leads to a new project, the unexpected insight that leads to a breakthrough, those seemingly small events that can set you on a whole new path.
This deep dive has really made me think differently about luck and its role in success. It seems like luck, that element of chance and serendipity, is way more important than we often give it credit for.
It's a reminder that success isn't just one thing. It's a mix of individual effort, talent, timing, circumstances, and, yeah, a good amount of luck too. When we understand that, it helps us view our own journeys and the journeys of others with more understanding and compassion.
Well said. So as we wrap up, we'll leave you with this. If luck really is this powerful force shaping our lives, what can you do to tilt the odds in your favor? How can you increase your chances of bumping into those fortunate opportunities?
Maybe it's about nurturing that mindset of openness, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected. After all, the most exciting discoveries are often the ones we weren't even looking for.
That's a great point. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of luck and success. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll stumble onto your own lucky break along the way.